the 100 Season 4, Episode 4, A Lie Guarded. This was an interesting episode. I got to start off by saying I'm really sad that they killed Nico. That really sucked. I like that guy. He was really cool. He was like the healer, and he was the one person who always was cool with everybody. Like, he was the guy where it was like, if there's anything going wrong with Sky Crew and any of the Grounders, Nico was the guy who was like, they helped me out. They've gone through some crappy stuff for sure, and they've done some crappy stuff, but they're cool people. And he was always that guy that was able to, he was the middle ground all the time. It was Nico. And to have him get killed off in this episode really sucked. Like, he was that guy, he just showed up every once in a while, and I always liked him because he was just that cool dude where it's like, yeah, things are crazy, but I'm going to find a way to get these two sides to come together, because he always recognized, like, we need them, and they need us too. And he seemed to be like the only person out of all the characters who ever just like really was able to make that type of thing work. And it really sucked to see him go. And it was just like, man, I couldn't believe it happened. Like, he was there and he protected Luna, and that was it. And I was just like, wow, I cannot believe Nico's gone like that. So had to mention that right off the top. It really sucks to see that character go, because I always liked him ever since he's been introduced. So really sad to see him go. Fortunately, Luna does decide to stay on the island when they actually end up having like the crazy chaotic moment. So turn her character around, I guess, because admittedly I'm not a huge fan of Luna because of all the craziness. And I mean, I kind of can't blame her from the last season. Like, she didn't want to be a part of it and stuff, but there was just a lot going on in that last season where it was like, you could literally save the world right now, and she was kind of just like, I don't want to deal with that. And it kind of made me not like her character. So they kind of got to do a lot for me to be okay with her character at this point, because like, it was just kind of self-centered, admittedly, because they were explaining to her like, hey, it's kind of like the entire effing planet, like, you can stop this now, but we got nothing else because people are dying all over the place, but you can stop it. And she was just like, I don't want to lead. I'm like, it's the planet, you're gonna be dead anyway. Like, if everybody's taking over, you're gonna die if you don't help. And she was just like, don't want to. And that was pretty much all there was to it. So, she's kind of moving towards a position where I'm okay with her. She did help out in this episode. She didn't leave. So, we'll see what happens there. We'll see what they do with this island thing, because they basically teased it in the beginning of that storyline, where they get to the island. It's like, okay, well, no mutants beyond this point, and there's like this big security system, and then we get like this crazy line where it's like, yeah, there are worse things on this island than drones. And it's like, well, what the F does that even mean? And then, of course, it's questioned in the end, like, well, if she had this crazy, if Allie had this crazy, like, security system, what was she protecting it from? And it's like, alright, are we gonna get, like, bigger mutants, or crazy monsters, like actual mutated creatures or something like that? We haven't really seen that. That hasn't, oddly enough, that hasn't really been a big part of the series at all. Like, the only time I can really think of like mutated creatures was legitimately in like the second episode of the series. It may have been even the first episode with like the two-headed deer, and that's it. Other than that, mutated creatures have not been like a big part of this series, at least not animals. Like the mutated people, of course, but mutated animals have never been like a big part of the series. We had like a gorilla one time with Clarke and Lexa, where they had to like fight in like an old zoo. They had to deal with a gorilla or a bear or something. I really can't remember. I feel like it was a gorilla though, but they had to deal with that. The two-headed deer, and then I think in that same episode was like a panther or something like that. So I don't know. I mean, that's really about it. They haven't focused a lot on mutated creatures as an issue, but maybe that's what we'll see, or maybe we'll just see another group of people. Who the F knows? But there are a lot of possibilities, but it's just like that. There's just that big sense of mystery, and it required like this really intense security system, which, granted, with technology, it's not as intense as it might seem. I mean, it's just normal. It's just drones that can shoot, so it's not really intense, but it's still a giant security system, and there are multiple drones and stuff to make sure that whatever got through or went past the shield wouldn't actually get to the base. So we'll see what happens with that, but they do make it to the facility at the end, which is really cool. I mean, they turn all these lights on, and there's just, all sorts of medicines and stuff when they like first come in, like directly to the right of the characters. Well, for us, if you're watching, it was on the left side of the screen, and it's just all these chemicals and stuff, and they go in, and all the lights come on, everything's just pristine, and it's all sorts of technology, anything that they can possibly need to find this cure within Luna's blood is all in that facility. So that's a great step. They get to that point, and it's good. I've been talking the past couple episodes, it's like, one step forward, one step back sort of thing. And yeah, actually, this may have been about the same thing. I think every episode so far has been one step forward, one step backwards. Maybe a couple step backwards in this one. I mean, we have things falling apart. I mean, outside of their storyline on the island, everything else kind of sucked. Everybody else, I mean, not story-wise, not watching it, but everything sucked for the actual characters because, of course, at Arkadia, we have everyone finding out the truth about Clarke's list, and that naturally doesn't play out too well, but Jaha comes in and he kind of saves the day, and it's like, hey, we'll do a lottery then. As long as you do the work, you get to put your name in the lottery, and then we'll randomly choose 100 people. And of course, he tells Clarke, like, they have to at least believe that there's some sort of chance that they can do it. So I don't know what plan he expects to come up with where he just tells everybody, like, psych, and that's what happens. I don't know how he expects that to play out. I mean, I'm sure they'll find some sort of cure before the end of the season where they won't have to worry about that stuff anyway. But that fell apart pretty early on, and so our third story at the Capitol is just pure chaos. We have, I mean, I didn't think it would fall apart like this, if I'm being totally honest. I figured things would go bad, but not as fast as they have. I mean, every season has got to be war with these people all the time. So Rowan gets a bit upset. It's like, certain news has come to light that you guys weren't sharing with me. It's like there's supposed to be a cure, and yeah, that was a few months ago. And also we find out that you guys have actually been working on your own base and not helping our people. And that was all it took for Rowan. It was like, you're working on your base, but you didn't tell me anything. That's it, war. And I was like, wow, that was it. He was pissed. So he's a full-on villain in the series now. So that actor is officially a villain in both this series and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right now, which is really funny to me. Because it just happened one day after the other. Because I was like, oh, he's a villain in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I was like, okay, so he'll probably be in the 100 for a while. And then it's like, boom, full-on villain mode. I'm like, okay, he might get killed off in this too. So it's hard to say, but they went full villain mode. They capture Bellamy. They capture Kane. And what happens with Octavia? It didn't surprise me that she lived, by the way. I knew she wasn't going to die. I'm like, once they showed the cliff, I'm like, people always survive that in TV shows. I don't know how often that works in real life where you fall, who knows how many feet that was? A couple 100 feet, maybe, into the water, which water gets pretty hard once you're falling from a certain height. But considering she probably passed out in midair, that would actually allow her to live because she wouldn't actually be conscious to feel that pain. Weird how the body works, but that's actually true. But I knew that she wasn't going to officially be dead, but that was a cool fight scene. I mean, she was fighting two people at once, and she actually took out the one guy, but, her sword breaks, and she ends up being stabbed, and she falls into the water. And so her plan is to at least try to get, back to Arkadia before it's too late to actually warn everybody. And that doesn't seem to be the case based on the promo, but we'll see what happens with her. And I mention this every once in a while because I still don't know if they forgot about this storyline or what the deal is. But I was thinking when she fell in the water and they showed that she got up, I was like, is this going to be where they bring back, what was it, like, the first episode of season 2 when they had like that mutated guy that was like stalking her for a little bit, and then that storyline disappears. Every once in a while something happens with their character. I'm like, this could be it, and then that's not the case. I thought this was going to be it for sure. I was like, they could bring back that storyline where that character was stalking her in like in season 2 when she was by herself and Lincoln like went to get her water or something, and the character like shows up above her head and stuff, but that's never shown up again. So I'm pretty sure at this point they forgot about that story. I don't know if that's the case, but I mention that every once in a while where I'm like, oh, that would have been it. That could have been the moment where they brought that back. And maybe they just forgot. I don't know, but I was like, is this really going to be the moment where they, bring that mutated character back. And it was not the case. The horse shows up, and she gets on the horse and heads home. And I was like, ah, man. Once again, I think about that every once in a while. That something happens, and I'm like, whatever happened to that storyline? And it's just there. Like, I still think about that periodically. It's like the one thing in the show where I'm always like, they just didn't do anything with that. But it should still be fine. It just popped up in my head again every once in a while. Like I said, something happens, and I'm just like, where's that storyline? What happened there? Why'd they stop? But I still enjoyed that. It was really cool that they had the cool fight scene, and of course she falls off. So at this point, Bellamy thinks that she died, and of course that sends him into he cried in this, but I think that's gonna lead to some much darker stuff until he finds out that she's alive. I don't know what's gonna happen there, because I don't know if they're gonna find out in the next episode that she made it. I don't think she'll actually make it back in time for all the chaos, of course. So if they solve this problem before they find out that she's alive and she still doesn't make it back by the end of the next episode, there's gonna be some issues there, because it's his sister, and that's just always been the thing. Like, that's his sister, and he's always looking out for her. Excuse me. And to have her gone like that, that's gonna cause a bit of chaos. Like, if he gets the opportunity, there are gonna be some major, major issues before he finds out that she's actually still alive. So we'll see what happens there. But I was like, for now they're captured, so there's not much that can really happen. But I'm like, it's only a matter of time before they escape, and of course he still won't know that his sister's actually alive, and he's gonna be mad. He's gonna lose his mind, and he's gonna take somebody down. I don't know who it's gonna be, but it's gonna be somebody, and it might be the person that he helped out in the past, who also he thinks killed his sister. Might be her. It's totally possible, but it should be pretty chaotic in this next episode. But I'm certainly looking forward to it. I really enjoyed this episode, and just everything falling apart. Minor solutions with Jaha. We'll see what happens with the medical base, and what does end up attacking them. What crazy creatures are going to be coming for them that they have to survive against. And of course, we have a crazy standoff in this next episode, and we have the one guy who seems to be losing it. That was like the point of the promo, is that if he kills Rowan, that's war, and he's just freaking out. Like, I just want to take this guy out so they don't have a leader and stuff. We'll see what happens. Maybe Rowan will make it past this next episode. Maybe he won't. But this was certainly a good one, leading into some pretty crazy stuff, as always, for these characters. But we'd love to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts were. And I actually want to know, what do you think will happen with the island medical base? Like, what is going to attack them? Are there going to be just another tribe that we've never seen before? Maybe characters with greater mutations, but they're still human? Is it going to be animals with crazy mutations? I would love to know your guesses on what this crazy threat is really going to be for these characters, because I'm also curious how long they're going to stay there. Like, if they'll stay, that'll be like their whole storyline, is they stay there for the next couple episodes until they actually get the cure, so they don't even know what's happening, at Arkadia and stuff like that. Or is it just going to be the next episode? Because I would assume they're going to stay at that medical base for at least 2 episodes. I assume they aren't going to just, poof, we got the cure after, 1 episode and that's it. So I assume they'll be there for a few episodes, and then maybe towards the end of their time at the base, that's when they start getting attacked by whatever these creatures are going to end up being. But we'd love to know how you guys think that's going to play out. And like I said, I want to know what you guys thought about the episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.